Hello, my name is Ina Cordle, and I'm the managing editor of The Real Deal, South Florida. Thank you all for coming to our panel. Our panel is titled Bienvenidos a Miami, examining the hospitality market amid an influx of new product and an uptick in hotel-branded residences. We have a great group of panelists today to share their insights with us. Let me introduce them. Next to me is Edgardo Defortuna, President, CEO, and founder of Miami-based Fortune International Group, which is involved... He has a big fan club.
I brought my own cheering section.
Which is involved in real estate sales, management, and development with 18 offices worldwide and more than 1,000 agents. Fortune's current developments include Auberge Beach Residences and Spa Fort Lauderdale, which is nearing completion, and the Ritz-Carlton Sunny Isles Beach, which is under construction. Next to Edgardo is Louise Sunshine, who also has a large fan base, I know. She's strategic advisor to Nadim and Ramzi Achi, founders and principals of Fort Partners. Louise Sunshine's career has spanned 15 years as executive vice president for Donald Trump, developing, marketing, and branding hotels, apartment buildings, office towers, and resorts all over the world, and then creating and leading the Sunshine Group. Most recently, Louise has been involved in pre-development planning, as well as creating the marketing and sales strategies for the Four Seasons Hotel and Private Residences Fort Lauderdale, the Surf Club Four Seasons Hotel and Residences in Surfside, and the Four Seasons Resort Palm Beach. Next to Louise, we have Benjamin Sinclair, the Chief Business Development Officer for Faena Group, working in conjunction with Alan Faena on the Faena District in Miami Beach and the brand's global expansion. The Faena District in Miami Beach includes the Faena Hotel and Faena House Residences, and Benjamin's background includes working on projects with the Mandarin Oriental, St. Regis Hotels and Resorts, and Four Seasons. So we have a lot of hotel experience all around us. And next is David Arditi, the founding principal at Aria Development Group, who leads the Miami office and whose developments have recently included the condo project 321 Ocean. Aria is currently developing the mixed-use Yotel Pad Miami, a 31-story hotel and residential project in downtown Miami. Aria is also active in multifamily rentals and condominiums in the Washington, D.C. and New York City markets. So let's get started. First, let's talk about the overall hospitality market in South Florida, where there's been a large influx of new hotels that have opened recently or that are planning to open. Benjamin, tell me what you're seeing at Faena.
So looking at 2018, we've really seen it as a level set year, coming off of the last 3 years of oversupply in the market, Zika, and last year with Irma. We've seen very solid growth from an occupancy standpoint, but what's most encouraging year to date is the growth in rate that we're able to drive within the luxury lifestyle hotel set within the Miami-Dade, really drive rate. And that's resulted in one of our key indicators in the hotel and hospitality business of which is revenue per available room. We're approaching a 20% growth year over year in how we measure our success of our different projects.
Can you share the figures with us?
As a market, so from an occupancy standpoint, it's just over 80%, and then from average rate and this is within the luxury lifestyle set that we monitor, you're in the low 600s, and then from a RevPAR standpoint, year to date, you're in the mid to high 400s.
Great.
So, if you look at, and that's a collection of lifestyle and luxury properties that have opened up in the last three years. So for us it's great to see that, and it's outpaced our projections for the market. And as we look into 2019, we see it much more as a stabilizing year. We're expecting conservative growth from an occupancy and still drive the rate We're very excited for the convention center to reopen from a standpoint of the citywides that will afford Miami, bringing hundreds of thousands of visitors and attendees a year to Miami. And I think that'll further mitigate any challenges that the market's going to have by the increase of supply that we're going to see in 2019 of just under 2,000 keys coming into market. So we're very excited about the convention center opening up. And those 2,000 keys are really coming into that mid-tier to limited service range. So it'll absorb the attendees, and those larger groups will absorb a lot of that inventory. So continue to support our rate growth.
Okay, great. Louise, what are you seeing at the Four Seasons?
I think the Four Seasons helping Benjamin out on the high end of the spectrum.
I actually saw, just on one note, I kept Four Seasons out of the those numbers that I just shared with you, because when you put Four Seasons in, and which is exciting, that they've had such a phenomenal year-over-year growth, obviously coming in to their first full year in 2018, because when you put Four Seasons in, that percentage year-over-year change is over the top, ridiculous. So, so really phenomenal success.
Right, so our average daily rate right now is $1,000 a night, and in season it will be $3,000 a night.
Whoa.
And we are at least 80% full, if not more.
Airbnb is a controversial topic in the hospitality industry. How is that competition affecting the market here?
I think probably the area where Airbnb is impacting it the most is in that mid-tier, mid-scale side of our business, not really at the luxury tier. The only impact I see, which is rare on that within the luxury tier, is for the multi-bedroom suites that Louise is referring to, where $60,000, $50,000 a night, $22,000 a night. When we're losing that piece of business, we're not at Faena. We're not losing it to another hotel. And again, for celebrities that are looking for an added level of security, we're losing them to Airbnb full residence rentals. But again, it's on the rare occasion, so it's not really impacting us on within our business. But it still, as an impact to the industry within any market, it really does erode rate. And again, rate is tiered up through each element, each area and tier of our industry. So as you erode rate at the lower levels, it does, you do have to worry about how the rate can cascade down. So it is a concern for that lower tier
And I just
market.
did ask our hotel manager and our marketing staff what effect Airbnb is having on the Four Seasons. And they said really none, because the people who come to the Four Seasons want services. And when you go through Airbnb, you don't get those kind of services.
Okay.
So that's the big differentiator.
Okay. All four of you are involved in hotel-branded condos. Tell me, why partner with a hotel brand rather than a brand for, say, a car or a fashion brand? What differentiates a hotel-branded condo? Edgardo?
It's a gamut of things. I mean, people think that we, by the way, Miami is probably the world capital of branding. I mean, everybody needs to distinguish themselves, and they're choosing to do branding. But when you choose the hospitality brand, it's a lot more than when we do the Ritz-Carlton in Sunny Isles. It's a lot more than the lion in the logo and the name in the building. It's all the effort that the hotel management component puts into help us design those units. I mean, the strict guidelines that they have in order for that condominium not only to be a great unit, but also to function as a resort, as a lifestyle. As Patrick was saying from Brightline, we all are selling lifestyle, and the condominium branded hotel residences really take that to the next level, because the condo management team makes sure that the kitchen is the proper size to supply the restaurants, that the bathrooms that we put in the units have the exact features that a 5-star luxury hotel needs to have, and that customer that is demanding that type of product does. So it goes a lot farther than just putting the name of it. And in addition to that, then they obligated to sign a 20-year management contract, so the customer that buys at Ritz-Carlton knows that for 20 years it's going to have the level of service that the Ritz-Carlton provides in all of their hotel properties. So it's an certainty and assurance that they're going to get what they're looking for, and that's what makes them, the people come and buy those type of properties.
Interesting. David, how about with the hotel?
Sure. What we found was that the consumer loves that convergence of the residential and hospitality experience, because it is just that. It's a service opportunity, and it's really creating an ambiance and a lifestyle. Our thinking from the start was, why not deliver that experience with one less zero? So, our price points are $300,000 to $350,000, not $3 million to $3.5 million. Everyone loves the lifestyle. Everyone understands the service component. Everyone wants the energy and excitement that comes with living in a hotel, living in a vibrant sub-market. We always asked ourselves, why is it that it's only reserved for the very, very high end? And why can't we take that product, take that concept, and bring it down a notch? And that's what we've done. And the hotel is a terrific brand that's very progressive, very forward-thinking. Echoing what Edgardo said, really sophisticated management that understands the demographic, that understands the millennial user, which is today, I think, the largest demographic in the country. So we thought that was a ripe target, and we thought downtown Miami was the right place to do it.
Great. I know none of you like the term condo hotel. I found that out. How do the current hotel-branded condos differ from the condo hotels of the last cycle, many of which went bust? Louise?
Well, in terms of
The microphone.
Well, the microphone. Sorry. I forgot the microphone. The Four Seasons product is called the Hotel Residence. And yes, it is full condominium ownership, but it differs from the condo hotel that everybody is familiar with in that it has no usage restrictions. So once you take away the usage restriction and you give somebody the option of living there 365 days a year or putting it to the hotel management for 365 days a year, or you give people freedom of choice, it becomes another whole kind of way of life. And because of the usage restrictions being removed, our hotel residences are in incredible demand, and the prices are very high.
We found that the buyer of a $4 million unit in a residential condominium that has hotel-branded residences really has two types of potential use. One that it's more active and wants the activity of the hotel and the transient, and the other one that is more private and likes all the services and all the amenities of a resort lifestyle, but without the transient component. The reality, the stigma of the condo hotel has been there for a long time, but we all kind of learn through the process of what the condo hotel issues were, and I think that it has been corrected very significantly in many of the new projects. It was a problem with the management, not necessarily with the product itself. I mean, when you clarify how it's used, and as Louise was saying, and what is the proper way of dividing expenses and using that condominium, then all the problems go away. Condo ownership is, in a condo hotel, is just a form of ownership, but the key component is how do you manage that property and what the restrictions on use reviews, and the type of management that you have indicates the type of product that you're eventually going to have.
At our price point, we found that the hotel pad buyer wants maximum flexibility. So the owner has full ownership of their unit and 0 restrictions on usage, meaning they can sleep there 365 days a year if they want. They can sleep there 0 nights a year. They can rent it out through Airbnb. You talked about, how we're addressing the competition. We're embracing it because we don't feel that in this segment we can really fight it. It's here, it's not going away. So our thinking was, let owners, if they want to rent out their units through Airbnb, absolutely. If they want to rent it out through the hotel management program, absolutely. If they want to have their friend, cousin, or aunt rent it out for them, go ahead. So it's full ownership with no usage restrictions. And we found that again, our demographic, our buyer profile has responded very positively to that.
Even on a daily basis, it can be rented out?
Absolutely, yes.
Interesting. And you all mentioned services at your projects. I know that's a key component. Tell me about the services. Tell us about the services that you offer.
Well, I think to your question also of why developers are going with the hotel branded residences. So, as Patrick said so eloquently, we're always selling experience, right? We're excelling, and at the luxury level, we're selling immersive experience. And so by buying into that resort lifestyle, that hotel lifestyle, you have all the amenities, obviously, that the resort offers at a 5-star level, whether it's the spa and trainers. At Faena, we have medical doctors as partners on staff as well. So there's a whole slew that speaks to you based on your brand desire of which brand you want to live that lifestyle. At Faena, we also, when you buy into Faena House or into the hotel residences, you also then become a member of Faena Rose, which is our private members club that we launched with the opening of the district. That has a limited number of members. We cap the memberships to it, and it's about 300 members as of today. People paying between $36,000 for first year and $15,000 a year for the renewal years. And you have access to 80 to 100 different events a year, robust programming that speaks to their passion points, that allows them to be part of a community of like-minded individuals. So, again, taking it beyond just the brick and mortar and the amenities, the standard amenities offered within that brick and mortar experience.
Yeah, the problem in Miami in general is the turnover of the personnel even in the luxury condos. So when you hire a brand like Ritz-Carlton's or Four Seasons, the personnel gets very significant training before even they get put in there. For instance, at Ritz-Carlton, every person in the building needs to go to at least 120 hours a year of training to be able to work at that facility. That tells you the quality and the attention to detail that buyer is going to receive when they go and live there. So that's what the sophisticated buyer is looking for. It's really not only, because we all are designing great condos with great amenities, but those amenities need to be managed. They need to be attended to the level that buyer is expecting, and that's what the branding of the condominium does to when you use a luxury hotel brand.
And so I would like to add one very important thing. The branding, using the brand, the Four Seasons, and availing yourself of their hospitality services creates added value, I would say, of a minimum of 30% to the price of the residence. And going forward, when somebody resells a Four Seasons residence, there's always a huge appreciation. So, in addition to everything else, it's a very wise purchase.
We've actually been adding services and amenities that go beyond what the hotel brand prescribes. We're very focused on understanding who the user is and who's actually going to live in our product. We develop a lot in Washington, D.C., in New York City. We try to bring a lot of best practices down to Miami, and because we're very urban infill focused, we understand what that tenant or what that owner wants. So for example, we conducted a survey earlier in the year with a business school professor and asked a select group of millennials what their primary concern was when it comes to housing. We all were expecting kitchen, bath, right, the size of my closet, et cetera. The number one concern was, how do I get my packages delivered? Number one, bar none. So what we've done, for example, at Yotel Pad, is we're creating an oversized storage and receiving room, which will have automated package lockers, so that 24 hours a day you can receive your package like an Amazon hub type system. We're putting in refrigerated storage, so if you're getting groceries or food that's being delivered and you're not home, that's okay because we can accommodate those too. Downtown, we've also found that our users are very, very pet friendly. So we've created the Pet Pad for owners at Yotel Pad, which is just a an on-site pet grooming facility, because we recognize that with smaller units comes certain restrictions. And if you have a big dog, you may not want to use your nice shower to wash it. You can go upstairs and take care of business that way. So we're trying to embrace what the brand is bringing to the market and their concepts, but we're also really trying to understand the psychology of the user and certain things that they're going to want in the residence.
Interesting. You're all involved in projects in very diverse locations. Fort Lauderdale, Miami Beach, downtown Miami, Surfside. Why Fort Lauderdale, Edgardo?
Fort Lauderdale is a great market. As Patrick was saying, the limits between the counties has been really disappearing, but and also just by the sheer fact that to get a oceanfront site of 4.5 acres on the sand is very difficult today in Miami, and depending on the customer is different public for different type of projects. For instance, in our Ritz-Carlton project, still over 50% of the buyers are people from Latin America, but and in the Auberge project in Fort Lauderdale, 85% of the buyers are U.S. buyers, either from the Northeast or even local buyers that live in the Fort Lauderdale area already, and that they're really appreciating the quality of service that Auberge presents. And it's very important not only to select the product, but also to select the brand that manages that product, because Auberge is very personalized. It's a lot about the spas, it's a lot about food and beverage, it's a lot about great wines. It's a different lifestyle. So we really were very careful at trying to select the proper brand that really caters to the public that is buying this product, and really has become a tremendous market. Nobody could believe that we could sell for over $1,000 a foot at Auberge, and we're sold out in the North Tower, and we only have 20 units left on the South Tower, with averages of over $1,200 a foot. So it really it's becoming a very, very, very great demand for that type of product, and we're going to continue to look up north, because the type of sites that you can get are significantly better in many cases than the ones that you can find in Miami.
And I think for Four Seasons, they are establishing Fort Lauderdale as a global destination. And what are the principal driving factors are the connectivity, whether it's the train, the boat, the plane, the car. I mean, Fort Lauderdale is extremely accessible by all modes of transportation, and it's really becoming a very cultured, exciting, dynamic place to live. And we're very thankful to Auberge for having established these prices in Fort Lauderdale, but with the help of Douglas Elliman, we're now averaging about $1,500 a square foot.
I'm raising my prices now.
Right. Either that or hire Douglas Elliman.
I don't know about that.
But I would say that is the brand, that just what the brand brings to the table, and it creates a lot of value.
Okay, great. How about downtown Miami, David? That's kind of an unusual location.
You know, my partners and I are city kids. Miami is the smallest city I've ever lived in. And so we love sort of that urban energy, and we love understanding what's happening in downtown. We're also always looking for the identifiable catalysts that are in the submarkets where we invest. If we look at what the World Center team has done, the resilience, the persistence, the investment, The commitment over years is phenomenal, and I thank them for doing all the hard work. We talked about Brightline with Fortress and SoftBank, Miami-Dade College, another fantastic institution, the Port of Miami, American Airlines Arena. Now we've got Formula One, we've got Bayside. So there's all these like really, really exciting factors and sort of dynamic demand drivers and anchors in downtown Miami that we've always loved. We thought there was a segment to address in A, in a residential product that was in the sub $500,000 price point, and B, in bringing to market a hospitality brand like Yotel that really fit neatly into the downtown market, where traditionally the hotel inventory was either Holiday Inn or Marriott Courtyard or Four Seasons and Mandarin Oriental. So we thought that there was in between there an interesting segment in which we could slot ourselves both on the hospitality and residential sides.
Edgardo mentioned, he touched on where buyers are coming from. Where are you all seeing your buyers come from? And can you tell us about what sales are at so far?
Well, just referring to Faena House that sold out before we topped off the building, over 90% of the buyers were from the Northeast. So from a standpoint of the trend that Edgardo is seeing, as well as Louise.
I second the motion.
Yeah, it's clear that obviously the U.S. buyer is coming more and more to this South Florida market, both for Lauderdale and even Miami, and especially in Miami Beach. But it's almost like a factor of where you market, where they put your efforts. And certainly the tax reforms and all of that has really created an interesting demand, especially for very high-end, very high-price units. But we still see a very strong demand from Latin America. We see great movement in some of the countries, like in Colombia, and we see it hopefully over the weekend in Brazil with the new president being elected. In Argentina, they're doing the right thing. So there's always going to continue that type of demand, but certainly we're expecting significant increase also from the U.S. demand buyer.
And I would like to say that I think that's the strength of Fortune and the company you built, is that you have the networks into those markets and make them work, because we are not seeing a single Latin American buyer.
You should hire Fortune.
What?
You should hire Fortune.
Exactly.
We've seen also a lot of buyers come from South America. I would echo what Edgardo's saying. We've seen a good mix come from Europe, and we're also seeing an interesting group of buyers coming from Asia and China primarily. We are candidly selling much better than I expected. We're hitting our pro forma numbers, selling in the mid $600 per square foot range. We've got very, very strong momentum going on, and we're really 4 or 5 months into it. I have to acknowledge the awesome work of our team at One World Properties and at Levy PR, who has been doing phenomenal work for us from the start. So we're excited with the results, and we still have work to do, but we're looking forward to forging ahead.
Sorry. How would you quantify the cost of the amenities that come along with hotel branded condos? What is the extra cost both for the developer and for the buyer?
So you're buying a turnkey designed unit. So obviously there's a premium as the developer, and then from a standpoint of the cost to carry, you're looking at, for a resident within the hotel, you're at $2 a square foot versus a non-branded hotel apartment or home in the 80s cents per square foot. So there's definitely a premium, but by buying into the hotel residence that has the flexibility, the usage flexibility, you also then have the opportunity to earn an income that offsets a lot of that carry cost.
Sorry. How about at the Four Seasons? How would you quantify that?
I don't really have the numbers, and I don't feel that I could give you an appropriate answer.
As far as the cost of construction, obviously comparing luxury condos, we just finished J Signature in Sunny Isles, which is a spectacular product with Herzog and de Meuron as the architects. So the cost of building is probably as much in J Signature as it is in the Ritz-Carlton residences. However, the operation, it obviously depends on the project and depends on how many people and personnel you have and how many units you have in that condo, but they do change, or they vary between approximately $1, $1.20 a square foot in maintenance and $1.50 a square foot. I think that when you get into the $2 is because of specific units and that are completely finished and furnished, that in many cases when it's just the condominium residence, not the hotel part of it, then you don't have those expenses of refurbishing the units and all of that.
I can say that the monthly carrying costs, both at the Surf Club Four Seasons and the Fort Lauderdale Four Seasons, are similar to what Edgardo said, between $1.25 and $1.50 a square foot.
And how about the level of sales? For those of you who are in the midst of developing new projects, what are your sales at right now, and are you finding it a very competitive market, a slowdown in the market, and difficult to sell?
It is definitely a more competitive market, and depending on the submarkets in Sunny Isles, there are about 5 or 6 condos being not only developed but under construction or significantly under construction. So there is a more of a buyer's market, but the buyer also recognizes what they're buying, and it really they go to what they find value, and we think that we are providing that type of value by giving them the brand and the services and the attention to detail that they are expecting. At the Ritz-Carlton, we're about 75% sold. We're going to be done in construction about this time next year, August, September of next year. So we really expect to be about sold out by the time we finish. As I said, in Auvergne, we sold out the North Tower. We just delivered they're doing the closings now, and we will deliver the South Tower before the end of the year, and there are 20 units left of 112. So really the demand continues to be, of course, Fort Lauderdale has less inventory than Miami has. So, but we see it even on the Brickell project, the one that we're selling for Hugo Colombo at Flatiron, it really gets about 10 units a month in demand. So the products that are well-funded with developers with great reputations continue to sell. Obviously, not at the pace that we were having a year or two ago, but they are still very much in demand.
At the Four Seasons Surf Club, many potential buyers come from the hotel. They are hotel guests, and they love the hotel so much that they decide they would like to live there and own there. We're 87% sold, and we have a very unique program now to sell the remaining inventory, which is a partnership with the resale brokerage community. So it's working out very well. We've given certain resale brokers an exclusive listing in the building, and we've relied upon them for outreach and the use of their networks. And it's fabulous. We did, I think, 5 sales over the summer with this partnership, and we have a lot of traffic. And so that's that program. In Fort Lauderdale, we're 38% sold. Construction will be completed in 2020. And most of our market is a domestic market, some from Mexico. And I think the Fort Lauderdale market is very interesting, as Edgardo says. There are a lot of people who are thinking about coming to Fort Lauderdale now who didn't even know where Fort Lauderdale was. When we put an ad in the New York Times, we have people who come down, They are devotees of the Four Seasons, so all they know is the Four Seasons brand. But our biggest challenge is making them fall in love with Fort Lauderdale. It wasn't on their radar screen, so it's becoming a very happening place.
Definitely very competitive market, different pace than we've known in the past years. We seem to have struck a nerve that sits between $300,000 and $400,000 that wasn't being addressed with the quality product that we're developing in the quality location that we're developing with the branded experience that we're delivering. So while it is definitely a very competitive market and tough, you know, each sale is, you got to work the body one by one. But we're getting it done and very happy with the progress.
By the way, our sellout at the Surf Club Four Seasons is approaching $1.7 billion. So it's a very significant development, and we're very proud of it.
Ours is not.
When is the new restaurant opening at the Four Seasons?
It opened. Thomas Keller opened about a month ago.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
I invite you.
Some news. I knew it was in the works. Some of you are undergoing construction. What delays or what challenges are you finding with construction? That's always a hot topic.
We're having a great experience in construction. Both the J Signature project finished on time and on budget. We're right on time on Ritz-Carlton to complete, as I said, August, September next year. The auberge is basically completed. The GCs did a wonderful job at that. And what we're not seeing is any reduction in prices. Still, even though the condo market has slowed down in construction, there is a lot of multifamily being developed in Miami. So the contractors are still very busy. And also now with the China situation and potentially steel and concrete being an issue, we don't see, from our point of view, that cost of construction are going to come down in any significant way, but the demand for construction probably, when this wave of multifamily slows down, it's probably going to be contractors more available and more willing to do work for less money, but the supply of materials is going to be still very expensive and difficult to obtain.
We haven't broken ground yet, but they will come. The problems will be there. The complications and headaches they're always there for every project.
Okay. And Benjamin,
We're announcing our contractor in Fort Lauderdale next week. Oh. So that's the big news.
Okay, good. Well, we want to hear about that. And Benjamin, I know that you plan to open additional Faena districts or Faena projects. Can you talk about that at all?
You keep on asking me that question, and I keep on telling you we're very close to announcing our next project, which will be a large-scale community that we're in the design stage right now.
Can you give us a hint of where?
I will not give you a hint yet. Sorry.
All right. For a final question, if given the chance, would you embark on another hotel-branded project? And if so, why? And are there any more in the works?
Well, that's our business, so yes, we'll continue to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that if we're going to brand the condominium, again, we're always looking for trying to take it to the next level, to differentiate ourselves from potential competition. So the experience that the buyer receives from a condo branded hotel residency is significantly better than in most cases in a typical condominium. So in the next project that we're planning, we bought a site 435 feet on the ocean side on Sunny Isles, and we're definitely talking to a very big hotel brand to brand the next project. So.
And Fort Partners has the exclusive rights to develop Four Seasons hotels and residences on the Atlantic coast of Florida. So we intend to keep going, except we are building one in Marbella now.
That'll be nice.
And David, do you have plans for more?
Yes, absolutely. We're working with Yotel, exploring other sites in Florida and outside, and also have explored the concept with other brands. We see a lot of value in these partnerships, and we'll definitely continue to explore it.
Great. I'd like to open the floor up for questions. If anyone has a question, if they could please go to the microphone.
I think everybody wants to go home. It's been a long day.
Well, I want to thank you all so much. Thank you so much to our panelists. Thank you so much to our audience. And please be sure to check out our website next week for videos of all our panels. It's been a great event, and thank you all so much for attending.